Well, hello guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. Back over on Vancouver Island today, back over with Adam Gibbs. We had a great time last time at Strathcona. Now today we've travelled over from from Vancouver Island. We've came to an island called Gabriola Island. Now the reason we've came here is, you'll be able to see by the light on my face, it's bright blue sky, bright sunshine. And it has been since my last video. So what we wanted to concentrate on today is we're wanting to do abstract again, because there's some lovely taffy rocks in this area. We came down for a recce earlier on there and went onto the coast, and there's some amazing sections to explore around. So we're actually taking a slow drive around the island and we're going to camp here tonight. So that's going to be the plan for today and tomorrow, before I head back over to Vancouver. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what we're going to be able to capture. I'll definitely be making use of that 1 to 400 again. So we're just getting to the first section that we're going to explore. We've left the cameras in the truck for the time being. We want to have a look at the coastline itself, see if it's worth going back to get the camera bags, and then we'll try for some images. So we've made it onto this stretch of coastline. It is quite hot today, but down on the coast itself we've got a lovely cool breeze coming in, and we're going to be working in the shaded areas rather than out in the open. You know, it's bright sunshine. Now it's beautiful to look at, but it doesn't make for great images. So I'm going to be coping with those conditions pretty much like I did in the last video. You remember up at Myra Falls? If you haven't seen that video, follow the link above. It's amazing up there, but we had some really harsh light and it was hard to work with. So we looked for other ideas and other ways of getting away with some images, and I was pleased with the images that I captured in there. So as we've been searching around this area, I was initially attracted to this old part of a stump. It's got some lovely contrast there, shapes. You've got the lights, the darks, and these patterns on the bark are amazing. So I explored it a bit more, and what you realise is, because they've been battered by the waves, they've actually got pebbles wedged and lodged inside some of the nooks and crannies. That's what I want to go for. Now this particular section, you've got a lovely swirl pattern and it goes into the centre, and in the centre there you've got this nice pebble. It's got some dark patterns there, some white, so it matches the surrounding area where it's wedged. And I'm going to focus stack this on. Now it is quite deep, so I reckon about 5 or 6 images at f16, and that's going to get it sharp from front to back, because I really want to show that detail. Plenty to explore over the next day or so, so I'm excited to see what else we can come across. So tried for a couple of images down by that fallen trunk there. Nice couple of textured shots there with the inclusion of that pebble in the first shot, and I really think it pulled that image together. Now I've came to this nice little area here. The area that I picked, you've got some lovely rocks that have got stuck in the nooks and the crannies of the beach here, and they make and create a nice foreground pattern, and it's totally different to the textures above, so that's what attracted us. And in the centre you've got this face of a rock, and it's almost like the salt's dried on the surface of the rock in the indentation, so it's creating a pattern, it's creating interest in the centre of the image. Now it's going to be a simple 1:1 aspect ratio using the 1:400. I'll probably be making use of a lot of the 1:400 today. We've got that light in there, you're dealing with tripod legs shadow coming through the shot, so what I'm actually going to do is, if I open up my top, I can shield the light out of that area, and it'll balance the scene that I'm photographing out. So what we're photographing, Adam?
What you're standing on.
Is that getting attacked by the tree? So I've came over to see what Adam's looking at.
And he's standing on my comp. Yeah, actually, there's all these textures right here.
So he's going for textured patterns on this old trunk. As I get attacked by this tree, you enjoying it down here?
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah. How about you?
The sun's getting a bit further into the edge of the coastline, so it's harder to find those images. I said to you earlier about using the shaded areas to your benefit. We're actually looking for the taffany rocks, but on this particular part of the beach there's not too much taffany rocks about, but as we head further up the coast here, I'm sure we're going to come across some of it.
Maybe the South Island?
Yeah, maybe South Island. We've found a good little place for this evening for sunset, so I'm looking forward to going back there. So I'm going to let Adam get on. It's an okay shot. If you want to take a look at his video to see the final result, you can.
If you must.
If you must. So anyway, I'll let you get on.
Right.
And then we'll think about lunch. So we've seen what Adam was up to, and I've came across another image that I want to take. I've came across another image. I've got to put up with this. I've got to put up with this loon today. It's getting a bit later in the day now, and I said before, this sun's making its way onto where we're taking images basically. Earlier on I was on about the textured rock on this beach and how it looks almost like tree bark. And I've came to this area, there's some lovely browns and some cooler tones, but you've also got the needles that have fallen off the tree onto this particular area, so it's a really interesting textured pattern, and those needles really stand out on the surface of the rock. Because of that blue sky, we're getting some nice cool tones casting down in here, almost making these grey areas look blue. There's some lovely colours in there. Really going in close. It's probably going to be a 4:3. I think it suits a 4:3 aspect ratio. No polarizer needed because we're working in the shade, so I don't have to worry about polarizer. Now the good thing about abstract images, it's nice calming, you know, you can just relax and explore beaches and woodland and anywhere like that for those little intricate scenes. Now I've came across this fallen tree here. It's been here for some time, but within the tree itself, because there's a gaping hole here, you've got some really nice textures, some swirly patterns. It's nice and balanced. Now, I said to you about the sun before, about it working its way around, so I'm trying to stay within the shade. Now this area, the sun, it has started to creep in there, and it's interfering with the composition that I've got set up. So what I've actually done is I've took my top off and I've covered the top of this part of this log where the sunlight was making its way in. So the scene now is nice and balanced. So always do with that item of clothing or anything, try and shield your composition and block out that light. This will be the last image. I thought it was going to be the last image earlier, but it's so great down here, I thought I'd grab another before I leave. Now 100 to 400 again. You're still getting some of the reflective light coming in from my right hand side, so it's lighting up the areas quite nicely, and it's just going to be a simple image. We've got some nice textures in there. You know, when the tide comes in, it bashes against these logs and chunks on the beach and such like that, and it creates all these textures and patterns, so it's nice to photograph that and explore the beach while I'm down here. So we've came away from the coast, drove up from the coast. It's quite hot now. Oh, beer?
Just it's just fizzy water with natural flavouring.
He likes his natural water, like his forests.
Well, I'm not. Are you keen on water, like just plain water?
No, it gets a bit bland.
I do like a sparkling water with just a little bit of flavouring.
Water,
but no sugar or anything. Just. But what is natural flavouring? Like, what is it? I mean, it could be anything. Anyway, carry on.
You just thought I'd share that with you. So we've came up to, this is where we're going to be camping for tonight. It's a great location. It's nice and cool in here, because out in the sunshine there, it's red hot. It's been red hot for the last few weeks. So I'm going to eat my quiche. I'm going to enjoy my piece of quiche that I bought from the shop earlier. We're going to have a chill out here for that, what, half an hour?
You know that real men don't eat quiche.
What do they eat?
I don't know. And you never heard that saying?
Well, I like quiche, so I'm having quiche. So that's what we're going to do, and then we're going to head back out. It's about 3 o'clock now, so if we get back out for about 4. So we've came back out. We've actually came to a place called Drumbeg Bay, I think it's called. Is it Drumbeg Bay?
Drumbeg Provincial Park, I think it is.
Drumbeg. I'll put it on the screen above. Anyway, so we had something to eat and we actually had a nap. Now Adam had the luxury of the van and I had to make do with the table. So we've had a sleep, we've came back out. It's around about 6 o'clock now. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to this area now. We've had a walk in and had a quick recce. There's nothing amazing in there, but there is some textures and details that we've been photographing today.
I have nothing to add to that.
So that's the plan. So we're going to head down to the coast and I'll be back to you soon. So I'm having a good look around this beautiful location. It's lovely and peaceful. There's not too many people about. Now Adam messaged us before saying he's found some better taffany rocks further up the coast there, because over my left shoulder it's really bright and the light's really harsh, and the taffany rocks were nice, but I wasn't coming across anything that really stood out to us. So as I'm walking up the coast to meet Adam, I came across this like an old fallen tree. Now we've got this green algae on the top of the bark, and because of the bark it's so dried out and it's almost white, the greens really stand out, and you've got some lovely wavy patterns and wavy lines and textures in amongst that, and I think it makes for a really nice abstract image. So I wanted to stop and capture this image. So I'm shooting it with the 1:400. You'll be able to see I've got it nice and high up, and I'm making use of the LCD on the Sony A7R5. It goes in all directions, so it works out really well, especially for landscape and also street photography. I'm going to capture this shot as quick as I can because there's these big ants walking about this rock and I don't want nipped off them. It's going to be a 4x3 f/16. I am going to focus stack this shot because it's not perfectly flat, so I'm going to take 2 shots just to make sure I capture that detail as always, and then we're going to head a bit further up the coast and see what Adam's getting up to. So I've came up where Adam is. It's a lovely area actually. The taffany rocks here are nice and clean. So we're just working off the side of these rock formations. And Adam's...
So clean you could eat your dinner off them.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? So I am going to try for an image here. I might steal one of Adam's.
Did you see that oak over there that's backlit? That's quite nice, eh?
Yeah, it's quite nice. There's a lot that's nice in this area, it really is.
There was an osprey here a moment ago.
Was there?
Yeah. Well, when I first came here.
See, if you had a 1:400 you could have videoed it. Have you got a 1:400? Oh, but you got the 500
I got
now.
a 2-500 at home, but that doesn't do me any good here. And I don't have the 500 anymore.
He brought all his lenses with him today, so he's been good. So this is the area that I seen Adam at when I came round the corner of the coastline there. And immediately, as soon as I walked in front of this scene here, I just want to grab what's interesting to me. But I love the way it leads down from the right hand side. You've got some taffany textures there. You've got a different tone of colour to what you've got at the left hand side. The left hand side also reaches down as well, but you've got this defined line, this crack in the rock face here that leads to the centre, and I think it'll just make for a really nice image. I'm going to shoot with the 1:400 at 100mm f/16. Now I am going to focus stack it because there's so much variation in depth in this image, because the rock actually disappears at the bottom of the image there, and that's where I'm going to frame it off when I come to crop it in post. So it was time to swap out the lens, and the reason for that is because it's a shot I envisioned when I walked around the corner when I first came around this area. You can see it's a great location. I've got this shelf of taffany rock curling over my head. You've got these amazing patterns. Now I've photographed these patterns front on, but what I wanted to do is I wanted to put the ultra wide lens on, so I've put the 14mm on, and I'm getting up right close. So what I want these taffany rocks to guide you through the scene. And then we've got just a bit of land in front of us there, and then you've got the ocean. Now I've made sure that the end of the taffany rocks that leads to the ocean isn't touching that land. There's a bit of a gap there, totally different to what I've been photographing today. So it's giving you another idea what you can do when you're in locations like this. You don't always have to work with that longer focal length. You can actually do the opposite and swap out for an ultra wide lens. Well, good morning guys, and welcome back. It is the next day. Now I have to travel back to Vancouver later on today, so we're just out for a quick wander this morning before we pack up camp and head back. So I just wanted to see if I could get another image pretty much where we started yesterday. You'll remember the taffany rocks. There's some nice taffany rocks close to the campsite, so that's what we want to have a look at. So I found this, it's more like a pinnacle of taffany rock on this part of the coastline, close to where we're camping. It's really interesting. It actually looks like a horse's head from a distance, from afar. And I just wanted to see if I could create an image using it. Now the difficulty is, you've got the land in the background. I want a nice clean looking image, so I don't want to include any of the trees, any of the land. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the wide angle lens. You remember yesterday I used that wide angle lens at the end of the day to get in really close to that taffany rocks, to those formations, and it turned out really well. Now the only problem with that, the location, it's more of a sunrise shot, because we could have got some nice light hitting those rocks on the left hand side. But to get there, it's 5:15 for sunrise, so it's a bit early still, and the location I'm at now is actually where you would take the sunset, so we started opposite. I'm going to get really low with that 14mm again, and what I can do there is I can frame the edges with this amazing feature that we've got, with some of the textures of the taffany rock, and I'm going to use that blue sky as a blank bit of space. So that means, because I'm getting low, I can discard all the distractions, the trees off to my left hand side, the mountains in the distance there, and any other distractions, and just simply focus on the framing of the shot. I hope you enjoyed that last image. It was just something different to take this morning before I head back. Now that's what this video has been about. It's been about being different. You know, we're in the summertime now, we're going to have a lot of blue sky and bright sunshine. So this is a great time to explore different types of images that you wouldn't normally take. And I hope I've been able to show you that in today's video. But what a wonderful couple of days over on Gabriola Island. Definitely a location that I want to explore a lot more of. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and I hope you can take something away from it. You know, try and be different, try and mix up your photography. I told you I do a lot of street in the summertime. I don't do as much landscape, but this is another way around that, look for those finer details, the textures and interest amongst the landscape itself. So it's been great being over on the island, catching up with Adam Gibbs again. We always have a laugh when we come out, and it's been so relaxing just looking for those finer detail shots. It's always great to read your comments, so don't forget to leave a comment below the video and let us know your thoughts and which image you preferred the best. But from here on Gabriola Island, thanks again for watching. Bye bye.